You have 48 hours to get your things out of here. Patricia Wellington stood in the middle of the grand living room, arms folded tightly across her chest, eyes cold as ice. The marble floor beneath Marcus's feet felt suddenly foreign. The house he had called home for 15 years now radiated nothing but rejection. Next to him, his 17-year-old sister Kesha clutched his hand, her lip trembling. "We're no longer obligated to support you," Patricia added. Her voice clipped and emotionless. Asterisk, the woman Marcus had called Mom. Since he was 6 now, stood before him like a stranger. The loss of their biological parents just 2 weeks ago had been a blow he hadn't recovered from. Now, Patricia and her husband Richard, their white adoptive parents, were throwing them out without warning. "But you're our family," Kesha whispered, eyes brimming with tears. "We grew up here." Asterisk Richard didn't even look up from his newspaper. "Biological family is different," he muttered. "You need to learn to fend for yourselves now." Asterisk Marcus felt something shattered deep inside. They had taken him in after his paternal grandmother died, raised him in this massive house in Alpharetta, Georgia. He had excelled top of his class. Full scholarship to engineering school, always trying to prove he belonged. Always trying to earn their love. Love, it seemed, was conditional. "Asterisk, I don't understand," he said slowly. "Is it because our real parents are gone now? Did something happen?" Asterisk Patricia's lips tightened. "Your biological parents left nothing behind but debt. That's why you have to leave. Can't shoulder any more financial burden." Asterisk Marcus stared at her. Something was off. The Wellingtons were rich mansion, imported cars, designer everything. Yet they were acting like he and Kesha would bankrupt them. "Asterisk, can we at least have a week?" Kesha pleaded. "Asterisk 48 hours," Richard repeated, slapping the newspaper closed. "And take only what you brought. The rest stays." Asterisk, that night. The siblings shared their room for the last time. Kesha cried quietly in bed. Marcus lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Something gnawed at him. Patricia and Richard's behavior didn't make sense. They were never warm, but they'd never been cruel. Not like this. Not until the documents arrived from their biological parents' lawyer. Asterisk, he remembered his real parents, David and Angela Carter, as loving and responsible. David was a logistics partner. Angela taught 3rd grade. They weren't flashy, but they were stable, meticulous people. The idea that they'd leave behind only debt didn't sit right. Asterisk, the next morning. With everything they owned in 2 backpacks, Marcus and Kesha sat in a corner booth of a 24-hour diner. The ATM had declined Marcus's card. The Wellingtons had shut down the joint account they'd helped him open in high school. "They really did it," Kesha said softly. 15 years, just gone. Asterisk Marcus stared out the window at the early morning traffic. "Something's wrong," he said, pulling out a crumpled photograph from his pocket. Their parents at his high school graduation. "Mom always said Dad was obsessed with financial planning." Asterisk, she said. "He talked about insurance, investments." Asterisk, exactly. And now, Patricia says he left nothing? People like Dad don't leave behind debt. They leave trails. Asterisk, a new message buzzed on Marcus's phone. From Patricia. "I hope you found a place. We donated your old things to charity. Good luck." Asterisk, they donated everything? Marcus scrolled, fury rising in his throat. "Even the trunk Grandpa David gave us." Asterisk, the old wooden chest. He and Kesha had kept it in their closet for years, never opened it. "I'm calling her," he said. Asterisk, Patricia answered with that same cold tone. "Marcus." Asterisk, there was a trunk in the closet from our biological father. Asterisk, oh yes. That went to charity too. Asterisk, why? He pressed. There might have been important documents in there. Asterisk, Marcus, dear, you need to move on. Clinging to old trinkets doesn't help build a future. Asterisk, which charity? Asterisk, I don't remember. Handled it. Please don't contact us again. This chapter is closed. The line went dead. Marcus sat frozen, the phone shaking in his hand. They got rid of that trunk on purpose, he muttered. They're hiding something. Asterisk, he opened his laptop, the battered one he used, for college. If Dad left us anything, there'll be a record. A will, life insurance, property, something. Just asterisks all day. He scoured public databases, company records, court filings. Hours passed. Coffee refilled. The diner emptied and filled again. Asterisk, then he found it. Asterisk. David Carter wasn't just a logistics employee. He had been a minority partner, multiple properties, 3 bank accounts. And there it was, a will filed 6 months before his death. Asterisk Kesha, Marcus whispered, heart pounding. He left a will. Asterisk, what does it say? Asterisk, we'll find out tomorrow. Courthouse opens at 8. Asterisk, the next morning, they were the first in line. The clerk found the will in minutes. Here it is, he said, handing over a thick envelope. Marcus's hands trembled as he opened it. David Carter had left everything. Company shares, investment accounts, life insurance policies, a trust fund valued over $50 million. Marcus was the primary heir at 21. Kesha's portion would be released when she turned 18. There were provisions for education, healthcare, even legal oversight. $50 million, Kesha gasped. They knew, Marcus said, stunned. They kicked us out because they knew. Asterisk, the trustee named in the will was James Morrison, an estate lawyer. Marcus called him. Asterisk, my God, Morrison said. Marcus Carter. I've been trying to reach you for 2 years. Asterisk, 2 hours later, they sat in Morrison's spacious office downtown. The man listened without interruption as they recounted everything. The eviction, the lies, the trunk. Asterisk, they received the documents after your parents' death? Morrison confirmed. Asterisk, yes. Asterisk, and immediately cut off contact. Asterisk, yes. Asterisk, Morrison leaned back, face grim. You turned 21 3 months ago. Legally, all this is yours. Kesha's share comes in 6 months. Asterisk, how did they keep it hidden? Asterisk, you were minors when adopted. You trusted them. They simply led. Asterisk, he opened a drawer, pulled out a thick folder. I documented everything. Letters returned, emails unanswered, daters I hired to track you down. The Wellingtons built a case against themselves. Asterisk, Kesha leaned forward. Can we press charges? Asterisk, absolutely. Misappropriation, fraud, concealment of inheritance, criminal and civil charges. Asterisk, Marcus exhaled slowly. Can we prove they knew? Asterisk, we'll need them to incriminate themselves. Morrison said, a recorded conversation would help. Asterisk, I can do that, Marcus said. After what they did, it's not courage, it's justice. Asterisk, that night, in a small apartment Morrison arranged through a trust advance. Marcus and Kesha finally had a safe place to sleep, but Marcus had a plan. The next morning, they returned to the Wellington mansion this time, with a recording device. In his pocket and Morrison waiting in a car nearby, Asterisk Patricia opened the door, clearly irritated. Marcus, Kesha, why are you here? Asterisk, we just want 5 minutes, Marcus said calmly, about our biological father's documents. Asterisk, Richard appeared. There's nothing to discuss. Asterisk, oh, I think there is, Marcus replied, stepping. Inside, Asterisk, the living room looked the same, but it felt entirely different. It wasn't their home anymore, never had been. Asterisk, you knew about the inheritance, Marcus said. $50 million. Silence, Richard stammered. We don't know what you're talking about. Asterisk, we have the will. Filed with the clerk. Business holdings, investments, trusts, it's all there. Asterisk, Patricia paled. Richard's hand shook. Asterisk, you suspected enough. To block Morrison, Marcus said. Morrison, Patricia whispered, horrified. He documented everything. You can't prove it was intentional, Richard snapped. Actually, Marcus said, standing, we already have. That's when Morrison walked in, followed by 2 private investigators and a court officer. Patricia gasped. Ow. Did you? Asterisk, Kesha. Let us in the back, Morrison said. While you confess to crimes on record. Asterisk, you can't do that. It's illegal, Richard shouted. Asterisk, perfectly legal. One-party consent, Morrison replied. Asterisk, an investigator handed Patricia a document. You are being served notice of civil and criminal proceedings. Richard tried to speak. Failed. We just wanted to protect them, Patricia muttered. They were too young. Asterisk, you left us homeless, Marcus said, voice trembling. You let us suffer. Asterisk, the money was safe, Richard insisted. You're getting it back. Asterisk, plus interest, plus damages, plus legal costs, Morrison said. Asterisk. Kesha looked around the mansion. It never felt like home. Now I know why. Asterisk. The legal battle that followed became headline news. Adoptive. Parents faced jail time and $50 million inheritance scandal. The case went viral. Public sympathy poured in for Marcus and Kesha, too, betrayed orphans who had fought back with intelligence, not revenge. Asterisk. Months later, Marcus stood before a crowd at a scholarship banquet. The new founder of the Carter Foundation, a nonprofit, supporting youth aging out of foster care. Asterisk. My sister and I were thrown away, he said. But we weren't broken. We found our strength. And now, we'll use what was meant to be ours to protect others like us. Asterisk. As the applause roared, Marcus looked at Kesha, who stood smiling beside him. The Wellingtons were gone disgraced, prosecuted, forgotten, but Marcus and Kesha had just begun, and the legacy their parents left was finally in the right hands.